quantum mechanics, the double slit experiment to thermodynamics, everything. It was there. And, sometimes our meetings were in his labs at Payson, Arizona. In the center of the state of Arizona, he had a special parcel of land that he built his labs. He continued his work from Stanford in Payson, Arizona. And so this is the clue. This was the clue about the magic of space. The magic of space. When I went to Payson, Arizona for my meetings there at his labs, the first time I did that, now you go to an elevation almost like 4,800 foot above sea levels. I mean, it's really high. Okay, there are pine trees. It's really special, very quiet. And then you enter this lab space. It's like you're in a physics lab. I mean, computers and papers and books and Faraday cages and pH meters. And it's everywhere, equipment. And this was the amazing thing. I sat in that space with all of these busyness, this almost like a chaotic environment, and yet I felt like I was in a cathedral.
Wow.
Whoa. Whoa. I remember saying to Dr. Tiller, I feel so alert and awake. What is this? Because I feel refreshed. And I remembered that day he says, now you're touching something. We're coming to that in future. It was like a twinkle in his eye. He says, Nisha, that's exactly right. I was looking around. I said, I don't understand this, because when I'm in a conference or a library or a physics lab like this, it exhausts me. Surrounded by computers, the electromagnetic fields, I know what happens to me. This didn't happen today. What gives? And he said, I know, but we will come back to that. And this is the big clue, that you can have a space in a very intellectual environment and be refreshed. What is that? What is that? It was like being in a temple, like a cathedral, and I felt refreshed. And I remember when I drove back to Scottsdale from Payson, when I went back to the, low-lying desert climate, back to my apartment, that day was so amazing that I didn't need so much food. Everything was clear, the lights, the sounds. It's like my whole biology was shifted for a brief period in time. And that was it. That something about Tillerian physics is tied into the physical space itself. It's not the brick and mortar per se. It's not the computers. It's not the pictures, not the plant. It's nothing contained in that space, but it's the physical vacuum of that space was different. And I touched it. But I felt it, I touched it isn't quite the right word, because Tiller's intention had touched it regularly, had conditioned it, had touched it in a special way, that space was so elevated that when someone like me entered it, there was something magical. And, I want to end here because, Carol, I want your listeners to get Bridging Science. Actually, let me see. Okay. So this is it. Yeah. I want your readers to, there's so much we've packed in here already, that there is something magical about this space, about human consciousness, about contemplation, about meditation. There's a lot we've already talked about, and the map of consciousness too, right? There is so much here to be unraveled by your listeners, that this is a good space, because then we can go to his target experiments and what the space adds to that.
Exactly.
Because that's the real
conditioned space, and we've gotten to that point, and then we'll go more into how you manifest, how you make it happen.
how we make it happen. Absolutely. And it was confirmed. It was confirmed later on with the relics of Buddha, you know.
Oh, that's fabulous. So everyone, can you give your website? What is it?
Oh, yeah. Let me see. It's nishamanekmd.com. It was at the very end of this that I had. Let me end this show and let me go get to.
Because if you go to her, do you still have that picture, that incredible one with the arcs of light?
No, I don't have that. But you know, this is what happened. Let me go from current slide. So this is the living room, and your space can be like this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I felt with Tiller. And I lived in London. I used to go to the Westminster Abbey all the time for lunch. I worked at St. Thomas's Hospital. I know what a cathedral feels like. You can close your eyes. And when I would close my eyes in the Tiller lab, it felt like I was not in a lab. I was in this restful, sacred space. And this is the clue. We have to go here. And what does this mean, really? Okay. And I want your readers to get, hang on. I would love for your readers to get, I'm going to go here. So nishamanekmd.com, my practice is Rheumatology Santa Cruz, which, by the way, you cannot get appointments. You have to write to me. I only take appointments on a case by case because I'm very busy. I'm writing book number 2. I'm writing a master class for people with rheumatoid, how they can embody the principles that we're talking about today to really heal themselves, to really begin the journey of discovery, of self-discovery.
Right.
It's up to them. They already have the tools, and rheumatoid arthritis can be a platform to really jump high in consciousness. But anyway, coming back to the relics of Buddha, I wrote on the phenomena of physical space and what happened with the relics of Buddha. And it's nishamanekmd.com. It's there. You can download it. It's free. And it's still up. You know, I'm changing my website. I've kept it up because it's going to be taken down.
Because I have it on I have the picture on my computer, and when I'm doing other stuff, I just enlarge it. Because it's got fabulous energy. Oh,
yeah, that picture is it's prayer. It's Buddha himself.
Yeah.
He's speaking to us. You don't need eyes and ears and mouth and ears, okay? You don't need a physical body, and that's the amazing thing. And that's what Tiller is saying. Nisha, your consciousness is not locked here. Consciousness is beyond space and time. We already talked about it. There's a faster than speed of light and slower than speed of light. In science, in physics today, we're stuck in slower than light. We have to let go of those limitations.
Right.
Okay. And I mentioned this in my book. And so your readers can start to piece the puzzles together in their own understanding. So I invite them to look at Bridging Science and Spirit. Just walk across the bridge. Just flip through the book, through the diagrams, and just get the greater scheme of things. You don't need.
The book is so good because she's got like 60 illustrations like this, that just to break it down so you can get it. Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, you know, physics is a little daunting. It is for me, I'll be honest. And so I doodle. I'm a very visual learner, and I was doodling, and I realized that they helped me. So I sent my doodles to my illustrator in Italy, Dario, and he converted them into art. So we had a lot of fun in that project.
Really, you just look at it and it's like, wow, you just get it. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps a great deal. So to your listeners, your viewers, get the book, because when you get Tiller, his level is so high at 575. It will help you in your consciousness. You can evolve. You'll make the jump. This is it. If anything, please, it's not about selling books and selling courses. It's about humankind. Can you bridge science to your own consciousness, to your own evolution, to your own Christ consciousness? That's what I'm interested in.
Okay, this was great. So thank you so much, Nisha. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll hook up again and we'll have the second part. Thank you so much.
And I promised to bring the relics of Buddha and that picture because it is a very powerful picture.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Carol.
Bye.
Bye.